Hi, I'm Michael Ferreira, aka Green Galaxy, and today I'm doing a review of the JST plugin Toneforge Guilty Pleasure. I actually made a whole song using this plugin where just the guitars were using the Guilty Pleasure, and I was able to get a clean tone out of the a distortion amp. And I'm going to show you guys how I did that right now. I'll show you the plugin, how to use it, all its qualities, its settings, whatnot, and then I'll show you how I go about getting my clean tone and my distortion tone. And following that, I'll show you the actual tones that I use for the guitar in this song. So that's the raw audio, just guitar straight into the interface, no plugins, no nothing. Now let's start off on this clean tone, and I'll put on the Toneforge. This is how it sounds default, just when you put it into your track. It already sounds pretty good without even messing with anything. What we have here is the first page where you have the overdrive pedal. And then these knobs control the input and output of the plugin, and this controls the gate. Following that, you have the actual amp itself. It has, the usual amp knobs: the gain, the bass, mid, treble, presence, and output. If you turn down the gain low enough, you can actually get a clean tone. But the gain controls the distortion and the volume. So let me show you that real quick. So you can see less gain, less volume. So there's a remedy for that, actually, and I'll show you that a bit later. You have the cabs. You can switch between cabs. You have the Mesa, and then you have the Orange Custom. You can switch between mics, condenser, 421, 57, and 57 off axis. So let me show you how that sounds. I personally like the Mesa the best for distortion, and then I use this one for clean tones. Next, we have the effects section, the FX. You have a delay pedal. Whoops. Then the wah pedal. And then the reverb. You can switch between different kind of reverb effects or sounds, or room settings, I guess. You have spring, hall, room, and reverse. And then you can change the blend and the amount of reverb on the pedal. Moving on to the EQ section. Looks intimidating, but it's really not. You have the gain section. I guess you could subtract or add the volume of a certain frequency. You have the Q section, which is the targeted frequency and the width around that targeted frequency. You could expand that or shorten it by turning it to the left and then expanding it by turning it to the right, that knob. And then these are the actually frequency controllers, or how you pick it. So here you can either change it from a high shelf, low shelf to a high pass, low pass. I actually use the high pass, low pass because that's just what I'm used to. And you change the frequency. And then these control your low mids, your mid, and then your high mids. or at least that's what I use it for. And then you can also control that. Lastly is the limiter. Now the limiter is what I use mainly to get the clean tone. You turn the gain down. I turned it around about like 5. And let you listen to that. It's kind of low in volume. So what I do is I turn up the limiter, or well, I turn the knob to the left. And let me show you how that sounds. Boom. And you could also turn up the output of the plug-in and the output of the amp if you want. Like just a bit maybe. And then maybe a bit for the output. As long as it's not hitting like too high in yellow or red in this output section, you'll be fine. So let's see how that looks when I play it. Well, this is the total output of the limiter, by the way. Let me show you how I go about getting a clean tone. First of all, the plugin turns on with the overdrive on, so I'm gonna disable that. I'm gonna turn up the gate to about 119 or 120, and then I'll move on. I already have the gain at 5. I like to have my clean tones low in bass, so I turn that a little bit to the left of the middle. The mid, since it's that's gonna take up most of the space for my clean tone, so I'm gonna kick that up to around 72, and then the treble around 77 should be good. Let's do 70. And presence, I like a little high end in my clean tones. It gives out like a little more ring, so I'll keep that around 72. And then the output 57 for this case. And let's see how that sounds. I'm gonna start tweaking it a bit. So that's how I go about getting a clean tone right there. So no overdrive. Here's what the amp looks like. I picked the orange custom cab with the 57. A little reverb on there, a little room reverb. And then I tweaked the EQ to pull out like a little high end in there and to cut off the excess low end and the excess high end so you don't get too much of a pitchy noise. And then the limiter, as I explained, I turned the knob to the left to bring up the volume of the clean tone. So now moving on to distortion, I'm going to show you how I get this high gain overdrive-ish tone. Now actually I'm going to use this overdrive to tighten up the low end of the distortion. First, I use the overdrive to clean up the low end. And then I like a little more bass on my distortion tone. High gain, obviously. Mid is still about mid-range. Treble, around 70, 66. Presence, 69. Output, I just left the way it is. Use a condenser on the Mesa. A little reverb, spring reverb. To go to EQ, and I didn't touch the limiter because I didn't really need it. So yeah, and this is how it sounds all together with the tones I've just created. And then I'll show you the actual tones that I use for my song. Here's what the clean tone sounds like, and then the distortion will come in. Let me show you what that sounds like by itself. Here's a clean tone. Let me show you what the settings are for that. No overdrive. Low gain, I think it's about 5. Bass, 43. Mid, 57. Treble, 70. 80 for presence. Output, 54. I left the plugin output the same with the input. And the gate is negative 140. Using the orange custom on the 57. I have that reverb blend at 43. Amount 55, and I'm on the room reverb. Messed a bit with the EQ. Pulled up some of the high end, and then like the frequencies around 200. I think this is this might be 1K. Okay, 2K. And then the limiter. Negative 27. And then here is the distortion tone. The overdrive is on. Pulled up the level to clean up the low end, obviously. Gain 79, bass 51, mid 67, treble 65, presence at 60, output at 48. Didn't touch these knobs. The gate is negative 105. Using the Mesa with the condenser. No delay, no wah, but using the reverb. Blend at 16, amount 42, and using the spring reverb. Pulled up, I think the frequency is around 200 again. And around 3K. And I believe I pulled down, 759. I'd like to get that muddy tone out. Low shelf, low pass, high pass. And no limiter. And that's how I went about getting my tones and making my tones for this song. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed using this plugin. I was happy to get a clean tone out of this. The EQ really helps you to perfect that tone and make it mix ready. So I appreciate that from the Joey Sturgis tones. And I'm probably going to use this in some of my upcoming music as well. So this is not the last time I'm using this plugin. So I just like to thank JST for making such a great plugin, and thanks for watching.